She's very delusional and ain't learned nothing, because the reason why you never saw it coming is because you ignored the huge red flag that was on fire sitting in front of you and you got burnt. Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Love is Blind Season 7 Reunion. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned. But before we begin, I would like for everyone to check out my website, lavidarosastyle.com, where you can find cute accessories like the ones I'm wearing right now. These cute little sneaker earrings have just been added to the website. Make sure y'all check that out. I also have a very exclusive discount code for my YouTube subscribers. Anybody who supports my lives and my videos, this discount is just for you. If you use it at your checkout, you'll get 10% off of your entire order. So make sure y'all take advantage of this discount before it ends on November 5th. I really wanted to show y'all love because y'all have been supporting my business so much. I appreciate it. So with that being said, like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into this video. At this point, y'all, it goes without saying that Nick Lachey and Vanessa are literally the worst reunion hosts there is known to man. But this reunion in particular, they were very unbearable. The corny jokes, I feel like they went overboard with that. Like every segment, they were trying to tell this corny joke or ridiculous segue that was not funny. It was too, I don't know, it was like, thank you, Captain Obvious type of jokes. Like, nothing was clever about them. Clearly, they came up with them on their own. Oh, let me check my Rolex before we talk to Leo. It was just like really stupid stuff like that. And then even worse, they did not get down to the nitty gritty. They did not ask the questions or follow-up questions or anything. Like, this is what we say every reunion, but in this reunion in particular, with all of the controversy surrounding some of the contestants, you would think that they would put the same effort in that they did with Trevor. Y'all remember Trevor last season where they had pulled up the text messages? They weren't gonna let him sit up there and lie, and that's exactly what I wanted with Tyler. Bring out the receipts of what the baby mama said, or bring the baby mama out, either one. Okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty of what's real. And they did not, and it really made me mad. I'm going to talk more about that when I get to that segment, but I just had to get it off my chest. They are literally the worst hosts. They would be good on E! News Network, ET, News Tonight, Extra, you know, shows where like you could be a host like Mario Lopez. That would be great for a show like that. But when we need to get down to the nitty gritty, we need to get messy, and we need to get some real answers. They're too scared to go there. We need somebody who's not. And I'm tired of having to say that every single season. Next thing before we get into it. What is up with y'all bringing back these past contestants? Especially ones that are extremely irrelevant. Why are we talking to Jessica from season 1? Especially since she's not dating anyone from the show. She's not married to anyone that we know of. I mean, we wasted like 5-6 minutes on Jessica bringing out her son. Like, I don't care about that. After her season ended, nobody cared. Like, what is the point of that? You bring back AD, and she's dating Ollie from the UK seasons of Love is Blind, but then we didn't even get any tea from that. She didn't even want to say she was dating him out loud. Y'all bring back Marshall and his facial expressions, which they were entertaining. And then we have Bliss and Zach. To a certain extent, I could understand because Bliss and Zach met on the show. They came back, you don't show their baby. I still think it was displaced on a reunion. Y'all should have a Where Are They Now featuring all of the past contestants if y'all want to give us an update of where they are. I do not care on season 7 reunion because it's too much other stuff that was going down. I'm sitting up here. If I were not reviewing the show, I would just fast forward through all of that because I want to know what happened during the set. I don't care about that. I'm ready to go in on Hannah. So when we pick up with this reunion, the couples that got married are still married, and they've been married for almost a year. First, they talked to Taylor and Garrett. They keep pointing out the fact that Garrett has this glow up. You know, it was a big thing on social media when, you know, we saw what Garrett looked like now versus how he did on the season. And yes, he did glow up, but then even on that stage, I'm like, I don't know. It still, it looked a lot better in the picture than it did in motion. And maybe it was that jacket. I really hated that jacket that he had on. But as far as April goes, ma'am, she was killing everybody on that stage. Amazing. She looked like she could be on anybody's red carpet. I don't know what 70s club he came from, but it wasn't matching her. It wasn't matching the energy. But anyway, the most interesting thing with them is that they didn't end up moving to San Diego. They decided to move to DC, which would be closer to his parents. And he you know, that was a struggle for them all season long. The parents just could not deal with the fact that their baby was going to leave. And she said she agreed to compromise. She had lived in DC before, and you know, that's her husband and they're a family now. And if this would make him more comfortable, she was willing to do that. I just hope she doesn't feel the need to bend over backwards for his parents every single time they disagree in their relationship. Because I feel like it could easily turn into that. If you're doing it just for him, that's fine. But don't do it to appease his parents. And don't make all y'all moves to appease them either. I still think it was messed up that April signed up for this show in DC knowing that she wanted to move to San Diego at some point. That's not fair. You met somebody under false pretenses and you want to manipulate them to leave. That's not cool. So that's the only reason why I'm like, it's only fair that y'all stay there, because he didn't sign up for this show thinking he would have to move. Next up, let's talk about Tyler and Ashley. There are going to be some Ashley sympathizers in the comments. I've been seeing y'all, I wish them the best. I hope they have a great marriage. I don't know if these are Ashley's friends. I don't know if this is Ashley incognito in the comments. I don't know how y'all could get behind this, but y'all ain't finna like what I have to say. Before, I'm only going in on Tyler. I was including her a little bit, but now that she claims she have the full story, everything has been put out there, okay? And you still sticking beside him, you gonna get just as much as he gets, okay? So, first of all, they were talking about how they were so happy when they were in their little bubble and now they have to address everything. Yeah, because you didn't have to be held accountable for anything. They bring up the kids. And when he referred to his children, he said those kids and that family didn't sign up for this. That's your seed. Those kids. He tells the story about how he wanted to help his friend who was in a lesbian couple donate sperm so they could have a baby. When the wife left the situation, he decided to step up as a father, and that's why there are pictures of him. Sir, I'm sorry, that's a very weak excuse. You have pictures with those children that say dope dad. You have pictures with those children in matching pajamas, videos of the child calling you daddy. And then you're trying to, the situation is muddy. There's no rules to this. I'm sorry. It's very plain and clear to me. Those are your children. And I'm so mad that nobody in this reunion called him out. They kept talking about the one child where he did sign papers to be a sperm donor for him, even though you stepped up later on and became a father to him. But those twin babies that you had next allegedly were conceived naturally and allegedly have your last name. So we're just not going to address that. We're going to act like they don't exist. And then he had the nerve to say, well, I spend time with all of my friends and their kids on the holidays as well. It's not just those kids. I was sickened. He was like, yeah, I don't owe an explanation to anyone but Ashley. What about those kids? What about how you got on TV and denied them to everybody and called them sperm babies? You for sure owe them an explanation. The whole time, Ashley had her hand on his knee, and, everybody in the audience was clapping, and the hosts were trying to coddle them. Like, I know this is a difficult situation for you. And he starts crying, looking for sympathy. Y'all, I just was like, this is a whole clown show right now. Then Ashley speaks up. Who do you think knows more about this situation? Social media or me? Girl, just like he said before, them kids' birth certificates are out there. All the information is out there. It's documented in court records. What are you talking about? Do you know about that? Because if you do and you're still sitting up here defending him, you look crazy. She claims he told her everything behind the scenes and they just didn't want to share everything on camera. And she kind of forced him to, because she thought it would be weird to move on in this situation and her feeling away and the audience not understand what's going on. I guess I give her a little credit for that, for not going along with that part, but you don't see how that's manipulative. You don't see how him coming on a TV show and wanting to hide something like that, knowing it could be exposed at any, you don't see anything. You don't think he's sneaky or a little scamish. And then when they, oh y'all, this really made me mad, because they're gaslighting us and trying to make us feel like we're the foolish ones when y'all look stupid trying to tell these idiotic explanations that don't make any sense. She said that when she asked him, does the kids know what he looked like? And he was like, I don't think so. The reason why he was stuttering is because he didn't know that they were going to reveal this much on television. It really sounds like revisionist history to me. You're trying to make him look better when he lied straight to your face. So the general sentiment of the entire thing is that she's going to stick beside him. She has it veiled as if, I'm just a good wife. I took vows. I'm going to stand beside my husband. That's my man, my man, my man. And try to act like she's just this good wife when really you're a pick me to a deadbeat. That's all this is. I really hate the fact that you drug your mother into this and made her look crazy too. She up there talking about she's learning from them and how they communicate. It's like, I will never have respect for either one of them. I grew up without my father. My father was absent and I knew who he was. I might see him every 2 or 3 years. He might call me on my birthday. He could be there, but he's choosing not to. Like, especially as a child, you take on that burden and you feel like it's your fault. What's wrong with me? I can't even imagine my father denying me out of his own mouth and me hearing that, let alone it being broadcasted to millions of people in perpetuity. And Ashley, that is what you are aligning yourself with. You, yourself, said that you experienced the same thing with your father. Yeah, he's in your life now, but growing up, he wasn't really there. You're going to cohabitate, you're going to marry, you're going to support, you're going to stand by a man that would do that to his own seed. Y'all will receive whatever karma is coming to y'all behind this. And it might come in the form of $30,000 child support, allegedly. Okay? Because now that y'all are married, she can come after your check too. And no matter the front and facade y'all are putting on, oh, we're so happy. Oh, I'm just so happy to be married. Y'all took those pictures with matching pajamas on. As long as those kids suffer, y'all will not be happy in that marriage. Don't think that you're going to get any support over here because you're not. I wipe my hands of it. I'm disgusted. I can't. Let's move on to Ramsay's and Marissa. When they pan over to Marissa during this segment, she is clearly visibly still upset. And I personally, Marissa, I hope you're not still sleeping with him, because she revealed later on in the reunion, I still be sleeping with him. I hope you have stopped that. I get it. That's your ex. Y'all are going to get married. You get weak sometimes. But you see how this man played you. You see it in 4K. I would like have some kind of self-control to not let this man be able to play you like that again. Like, I was very disappointed in Marissa. Not necessarily during this segment, but just in general. They talked to Ramsay and asked him what happened. He claims that he didn't realize that their energies didn't match until the end of the experiment, and that's when he let her know. I personally really feel like Ramsay knew that he didn't want to be with her, and he waited till the last minute. I truly believe that. I don't care what he says out of his mouth. I feel like he's the definition of an F-boy. I don't know if he just did this for television. Like, I don't know, did he just want clout or what? But Ramsay's, I don't believe anything he has to say. He's disingenuous. I feel like he puts up a good front, but deep down inside, he is not what he portrays himself to be. He's very fake. So, I will say he did take accountability for the most part, but I just wish he would have been honest and said that he had doubts with her much sooner than what he did. And that's pretty much what her mom said when she confronted him. He waited pretty late to break things off with her, because Marissa's mom said she was headed there for the wedding when she got the call from Marissa that he broke up with her. And even though she wanted to, knock his head between the washer and the dryer, she still came and talked to Ramsay's like, are you sure? Because she wanted her daughter to be happy. She thought this man was going to make her daughter happy. At the end of the day, Marissa's mom said she's glad that he cut things off because Marissa would have had to be the one to carry the relationship. And I totally agree with that. And, she said that she was completely broken and she had to help put her daughter back together again after that relationship. And it's sad to say, but the mom was right. I do think that the mom was coming from a place of bitterness when she was saying some of the things she was saying, but she wasn't wrong. She was not wrong about Ramsay. She saw straight through him. At the end of it, they did make it clear that he did not try to present birth control as an ultimatum to her. And I don't think he did, but it was just your reaction to her saying, well, I don't want to do birth control. We're going to have to use condoms. Well, I don't want to use condoms because it's not going to make me feel good. So, he was just being childish about the situation and selfish at the same time. And what I didn't like about their segment, they didn't talk about any of their deal breakers, the military thing, the kid thing. They didn't really get into that. And I wish they would have talked about, why didn't y'all mention any of these deal breakers during the pods? Because that would have saved y'all a lot of time and heartache if y'all would have just acknowledged y'all's red flags instead of brushing them up under the rug the entire time, because the audience saw it all from the beginning. Let's move on to Hannah and Nick. So when we see Hannah, she has had a physical transformation. She lost a lot of weight, but not a mental one. Not an emotional one. She's still the same Hannah on the inside. They ask her about her nasty attitude, and she's just like, I'm direct. And, I know what I say can be rude sometimes, and I know it can be taken the wrong way. I'm just a bee. She's not apologizing for the way she talked to Nick, the way she talked down on him, the way she berated him. She is acknowledging the fact that she does it, but not saying that it's wrong necessarily. And I don't know how anybody wasn't catching that. Just because you acknowledge that you're wrong, you're not apologizing, you're not saying you want to be a better person. She claims she does, but child, this reunion showed that she don't see nothing wrong with that. She talked to her friends like that. She talked to her brother like that. And she will continue to do it because people will continue to accept it. Nick comes in, says that he respects her opinion and didn't expect her to take anything back. He said he felt like he treated her with the utmost respect. And even Garrett turned around and said he had way more patience than I would have had. I feel like everybody in the room felt that way. So, they turn back to her and lightly whack her, try to let her know you are in the wrong. Acknowledge that, take responsibility. So she starts tearing up and tries to, I just don't know what to say. That's when Nick starts defending her, and I wanted to pick Nick up by his, what are you doing? Why are you defending somebody that treated you that way? Shut up or stand up. One, I don't know what's going on with him and why he was doing that, but she definitely deserves all of her critique, sir. Allow her to get it. As he's defending her, she quickly wipes her tears and says, well, what about you liking all the hate comments against me? I would have been like, why are you even on my page? Didn't you break up with me? Then she brings up the fact that she found a note that he wrote to himself saying that he wanted to sell at least 2 properties. He wanted to get in shape, and he wanted to be the most famous person from Love is Blind. And so, yes, that is very cringy. He admitted that he wrote it. That's when Marissa starts piping up and teaming up with Hannah to jump on Nick. And everybody's looking at her like, girl, you didn't even have this much energy with your own man. Where was all this energy for Ramsay's? You were sitting up here crying and breaking down and melting on your knees when it came to Ramsay's, but when it came to this situation, you have all the smoke for whatever reason. It came out that Hannah had been mean to her too. So why are you sitting up here being a guard dog to somebody who isn't even nice to you? What is wrong? Marissa, I hope you took time out to look at yourself and your behavior and hopefully change it, because it's like you want to be a doormat, and that's not cool. Because you just, oh yeah, she's been mean to me too. and that's okay. Definitely wouldn't be fiercely defending her after that. As far as what Nick wrote, let's be real. All of y'all come on this show for some form of notoriety, for some form of clout. If not, y'all would just go find a matchmaker, okay? But y'all came on the show. Y'all want to be on TV. Y'all want to be seen. Y'all want the followers to some degree. I hate when they act like, oh, people just come here strictly for love. I don't believe that. I just don't understand how everything flipped on Nick and it became sort of like a witch hunt for him when he wasn't the one that was disrespectful. Now, if they wanted to get on him for anything, if they wanted to talk about him living at home, being coddled, it's certain things that they could have got on him for. Apparently, he called Hannah a grenade behind her back. You know, he was lying about being attracted to her when he first met her. You were saying much worse to his face. Like, I get it. Nick put on this portrayal on the show. We didn't see him say anything negative about Hannah, but I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I really don't care. I don't care that he called her a grenade behind her back. I don't care that he said she was a 5. He lied about it. He got exposed by Steven. Steven just don't want to be the only one exposed on that stage. You know, Ramsay eventually held him accountable and he had to go ahead and admit that he said he wasn't fully attracted. All of that for what? I feel like all of that was a waste of time. All of that was immature. It held no weight. It didn't do anything to shift anybody's mindset. Hannah, you are still a jerk. And you showed how much of a jerk you were at this reunion when you told this man to shh, like he was a child. You shh to him like he was like a child, and then go try to call him out. Yeah, the girls you were trying to fly out for the reunion DM me. Y'all are not in a relationship. You broke up with him. So yes, it was a bunch of immature, childish, middle school, mean girl antics back to back. I just didn't like how they were just brushing what she did under the rug and then making what he did, trying to villainize him and make what he did so much worse when it's apples to oranges at this point. Of course she would treat him like that knowing that he said these things behind her back. Why would you stick around in a relationship where you feel like somebody is not attracted to you? Instead of confronting them about that and leaving them, you stick around and berate them, talk down on them, and is condescending towards them. No. We're not going to excuse any of that. We're not. Because she could have easily left. But she decided to stick around and be a jerk because that's just who she is as a person. And then with the whole Katie segment, I didn't understand why she came in on her hands and knees begging for forgiveness. She didn't do anything wrong. Katie didn't do anything wrong. Hannah gets to say all this wild stuff to her friends and they just have to accept it. But the friends turn around begging on their hands and knees. I'm going to need for all of y'all to stand up. I don't know why y'all feel the need to bow down and break your back for Hannah, but I truly don't get it. I just don't. It's not like she has this charismatic personality to make everybody love her. At least I haven't seen it. Did she have some dirt on y'all? Is she blackmailing y'all? Why are y'all placing her up on a pedestal? I don't get it. So then we had Leo and Britney. If y'all weren't gonna feature them, let us see the train wreck play out during the season. What was the point of bringing them on the reunion? At first I was like, okay, yeah, I would like to hear what happened, but nothing happened. They keep talking about, oh yeah, we just realized we weren't compatible. Oh yeah, he was drinking out of my drink and I didn't like that. And so that's why we broke up. They're trying to once again do revisionist history. She's like, oh, it's not that I wasn't attracted to him when I first met him. I was just nervous. He was actually very comforting to me. And we're best friends and we talk every day. If y'all are best friends and talk every day, how come the relationship didn't work? Like, they could have been left at home. That was a whole waste of segment. They both made me mad. Well, actually, Leo didn't make me too mad because at least he took accountability for being cringe and, for being ridiculous. They really could have been a FaceTime call, to be honest. Then we had Monica and Steven. He claims to have sleep apnea, but he does not have a CPAP machine. He's been approved for one, but he doesn't have one. And they did show us a picture at the sleep study. Are we sure that's from that night? Is that verified? They start talking about him texting the other woman. He was like, yeah, I don't want to go into detail about me texting the other woman because I don't want to bring this person into it. She didn't ask to be a part of this. And Monica was like, well, you shouldn't have done it on a reality TV show if you didn't want it to be exposed. And 2, you had more respect for her than you had for me. And I would have been a little offended too. I wouldn't mad at her for snapping on him about that. So, he brings up the fact that he's been apologizing to her, and 2 weeks after the fact, they went on a date. No, it wasn't a date. We just had a dinner. Girl, you still went out to eat with this man. And, he wrote a letter to her parents, and she said, well, did you write it just so you could bring it up at the reunion? It's like, Steven is trash. We all agree he's trash. But Monica, your attitude sucks too. If Steven was the perfect match for you, you still would have treated him the same way, because you just have this very controlling, very condescending attitude as well. The way you treated him wasn't the best, even before he cheated. Steven starts feeling attacked, so he's saying, oh, why should I tell y'all the truth? Why should I defend myself? Y'all don't believe anything I have to say anyway. You right. I don't believe nothing you had to say, Steven. I don't care that he said, oh, that was our one and only conversation. I know nobody's going to believe me. It's not adding up. It's not making sense. They didn't even bring up the fact that he said he was drunk at the sleep test. And so that's why he was texting her. You have lied time and time again. You're not trustworthy. He claims that he was talking to the woman about her having heart problems, and then all of a sudden she just jumped to talking about fetishes, and he just became curious, so he just wanted to know more. Like, Steven, shut up. You dug yourself deeper and deeper in that hole, and then got mad that didn't nobody want to believe it. And then they put the spotlight on Monica, saying, well, this man already told you he was a cheater, and you ignored that red flag. And she was like, no, I don't think it was me ignoring a red flag. He said that he went to therapy. He said he gave me all the reassurance I needed, and I was completely shocked when he cheated because of all the reassurance he gave me. Also, because cheaters have never been this accountable to her before. Just because he's an honest cheater doesn't make him any less of a cheater. She's very delusional and ain't learned nothing, because the reason why you never saw it coming is because you ignored the huge red flag that was on fire sitting in front of you, and you got burnt. Finally, let's move on to Tim and Alex. And they especially wore me out on this segment. So we discussed the argument that was not caught on film. Alex said that her dad was admitted into a rehab facility a week before she left to be on the show. And it had been 3 weeks without her talking to either one of her parents. Both of her parents have MS. And it was weighing heavy on her. And so that night, she asked for a little space, and it turned into a disagreement between the two of them. From his perspective, he said that she left the pool party early, and he saw that she was upset, and he asked her what was wrong because she was crying on the floor. And it turned contentious because she put her hand over his mouth, and when they were going back and forth, called him a little B. And so he was especially upset about that. calling me a name that I was not given when I was born. He made sure to drill that in over and over, that she called him out of his name. They both say that they didn't want to be portrayed in any sort of way, because he's this big 200-pound, 6-foot man. They didn't want it to turn into a situation where he got a bad edit. I don't know, y'all. Tim does give very long-winded explanations, so that's what I got out of what he said. And, at the end of it, he was like, I hate that our worst moment is the moment that people want to hear about the most. And it's like, you are on a reality TV show. The argument was not caught on film, and therefore, there's a lot of speculation about it. Obviously, people are invested in the show, in your relationship. They want to know what happened. Nothing more, sir. After this show goes off the air, we're not going to care. And also, it was the moment that everything changed between y'all. Y'all seems like y'all were doing very well in your relationship until it got to that point. So obviously we want to hear more, since we weren't able to see it. So she said she wanted to make it clear that she did not physically assault him, and he corroborated that. But ma'am, I don't care. You putting your hand over somebody's mouth, still trifling. If he would have turned around and put his hand over your mouth, he would have gotten lit on fire by the rest of social media for that. So I'm not finna just sit there and let that slide just because you're saying, oh, it was no physical assault. Maybe it's not balling your fist up and punching him, but it's still wrong to put your hands on somebody during a fight. And I really just wish she would just take accountability for that. And so then they get into the fact that he said that he wasn't screaming and that his voice just carries. She said that he was yelling and that producers had to come in and get him. They revealed the fact that she called him a little B in that argument. He was like, why would you say that to a man that's trying to love you? I could never call a man that I love, that I want to marry, I could never call him that. You don't respect him, you don't love him, can't possibly. Because I don't know how you come back from something like that. Where I can take her side though, he said that she never told him the reason why she was upset. But you just said that you knew it was about some family stuff. So it doesn't matter that you didn't know the exact reason. She said she was upset and she wanted to be left alone. She wanted some space. She just wanted to sleep it off and wake up the next morning. We could talk about it, but you couldn't let it go. And I could tell you the type to provoke somebody and then want to play the victim. I can't believe she's talking to me like that. I can't believe she said that to me. When you poke and poke and poke and poke. So I do see that from him. I could even see him doing that at the reunion. So then they got into the fact that she took a nap when his parents came to visit. She claims that this was the one and only time that she had bartended in their relationship. And the reason why she took the nap was because she worked all day, hung out with his parents, had the 4-hour conversation, then went upstairs and took a nap before her bartending job so that she could be fully rested for that. Why is the one and only time you bartended in your relationship with him, why was that the day that his parents came to visit? That comes off as very inconsiderate. I'm sorry, y'all. A lot of people are trying to reduce it down to, oh, well, she just wanted to take a nap. You're mad over a nap. It was the fact that you did not take into consideration my parents when I went all out for your parents. You understand the importance of honoring parents and, treating them with a certain level of respect. And, when they come to visit, you do this and that. You understand that concept when it comes to Tim. And you put all that on his shoulders. He lived up to it. He grilled and even washed the dishes after they left. But you couldn't even do as much as stay there the whole day? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. When you're in a relationship, there are certain sacrifices that you have to make, especially when you're meeting them for the first time. But when you have people coming in from out of town, yeah, you're tired. You don't feel like staying up and entertaining them all night long. And I know 4 hours seems like a long time, but it's really not. It's really not. And how much longer were they going to stay up at that point? You know what I'm saying? Older people go to bed. They be in bed by 8 or 9 o'clock. I do feel like there was a lack of care and consideration when it came to his parents. Point blank period. I feel like both of them are wrong. Especially when she said that after he read that letter to her father, they had dinner after that. And he said that he still had doubts about their relationship. And I don't know. I do think it was wrong for him to write that letter and do all of that, talking about how he would take care of, Alex and things like that, and then turn around and say you have doubts. But was that after he saw that apartment? I'm sorry. I understand why he could have a little bit of doubts. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like he was wrong for when he broke up with her and he had all that animosity saying, I never want to see you again. And, just kind of rub things in her face. Yeah, they just were not a good match at all. I don't think either one of them should be getting married to anybody anytime soon. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this reunion down below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I would love to hear your opinion. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.